Welcome back to the Verizon VCT Game Changers presented by Dignitas. We are now at the lower bracket semifinals where we will have team Nothing to Lose taking on GX3 for a spot to pretty much stay alive in this tournament for the chance to get that $50,000 prize. I mean, they are all in the money, but you gotta go for number one. I am your host, Sajidine. Joining me is A Evil Cat and Tanner Metro. It is a long day. We are at the final stretch of the day here. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I feel like it took us a second to get off the road there after some delays, but that first matchup delivered. CLG coming back in a good way and finding themselves that 2-0. And then same with TSM. It was kind of a day of redemption for CLG, who had previously lost to their opponent, and all as well for TSM. Previously that series got really close, but this time they just kind of had the shutdown. They were looking good. Well, now two of those teams have been sent down to the lowers for us to take a look at, which I'm super excited for.
So we got to see two of kind of the top dog teams prove that they are the top dog teams coming in from rematches, whether wins or loss, whether it be a loss on the series like CLG Red and then winning it in dominant fashion, or a loss on the map from TSM and then coming back and winning it. It's been an interesting road to get where we are. And now we have two teams, two of the unsigned teams here in this one at Nothing to Lose and GX3. And it's just kind of backs against the wall, who wants it more type moment. So I feel like through all of the trials and tribulations to finally get here, there really isn't a better matchup than these two teams right here in the lower bracket.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, we even picked out our two players to watch from each team as we pull up, both the rosters on each side. We have, I believe we're going to be looking at Artstar versus Ali Street or Ali Monster, I believe, as she goes by commonly, from GX3. But as we're looking at the roster here, Mimi, can you give me a little bit of heads up? Because GX3, they're coming into this hot from, their last best of 3, and they're coming in well into well. Maybe a bit of a break here. Well, not really, no. But, their match kind of ended faster. So how do we feel as far as like any advantage, both on mental or physical, coming into that matchup?
I don't know. I think it's going to be about equal. These teams are kind of similar in that each of them has kind of like a central player or two players that has a ton of comp experience coming in. For the side of N2L, it's Arianarchist, it's Lunarcats, it's Triggered, it's Artstar, it's Sarastar, and at least like 3 of those players have tons of comp experience in way of Ari coming from Battalion, Artstar, she was previously on Dig in CS, and same with Lunar. So there's lots of experience from both these rosters, and I feel like it's going to be close. But in way of players to kind of take a look at, Tanner, like we kind of picked out Ali and Artstar here, both like the most experienced veterans on their respective squads.
Yeah, that is nail on the head, right? Just the experience in it, probably in a situation like this where you are backs against the wall, two players that you want to have on your respective squad to kind of, like we heard, keep your team calm, keep your team cool, collected, always having the drive to move forward. When you have the experience, whether it be winning or losing, right, you get so much out of that, right? How to handle yourself when you are ahead, and how to handle yourself when you're behind, and make a comeback. So I think, to highlight these two players, it's not so much, although it is about the stats, we want to see them put up numbers like we're seeing on the screen, but it's kind of the ambiance or the aura that they bring to the squad to kind of keep everybody grounded in a do or die situation like this series is.
For sure, and we do have our picks and bans for the maps already ready to go here. I mean, we have Haven to open things up, but again, we are looking at a Breeze in play to close things out. That is Icebox. Now, I know prior to us going like live on camera, you all were already discussing some of the heat checks as far as both teams and how they perform, with Haven coming up first. Mimi, can you touch up on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, so GX3 playing Haven, it really makes me love and hate this squad, because they play the no duelist Liquid / Sonics comps that kind of both those teams have been playing in their respective region, where they're running just full utility heavy, and they do get to start out on that attacker side, where the second they get the spike down, they pretty much win, because they have so many lineups to just hunker down and take care of. We saw them dismantle Serenity Purple in the qualifiers with this. Me and Tanner had the opportunity to cast that one. And then we go over to Breeze. I'm so surprised this made this through the bans because for N2L, the team that picked it, they played it once and they lost out to Shopify Rebellion. It was a close series. It was 13-9 when they lost, but it was a loss regardless. And they go up against GX3, who have never officially played it. So this second map especially, it's a weird one, Tanner.
Very, very weird to have it. I think the biggest thing is the coach for Shopify Rebellion is making sure they're ready for anything. So when N2L go into that map, they lose it. They say, oh, well, they were ready for it. Now against this one, I don't know if GX3 have kind of the same facilities.
We do have the SIG agent select ready to go, so I am hopping out and you two take us away.
Well, we normally don't have too much time to take a glance at the agents, but from GX3, it is that no duelist comp that we expected. The Liquid popularized one over in EU. The Sonics, the kind of first NA team to start to pioneer it in our region. And for N2L, well, it feels pretty standard. It looked like we got the Astra out there. It looked like we got the Cypher out here. It's kind of what you expect from this squad and what you expect on Haven, which, I mean, Tanner, it's not like they're not comfortable on this map. They've got like a 75% win rate. They've played it pretty consistently. Even taking down Dignitas on this map.
I think the biggest thing coming out of map one, if you could win, if you're nothing to lose, obviously that feels great because then you're going into your map pick and Breeze, which is kind of could be considered, you know, a pocket pick or the cheese pick. But I think if you're nothing to lose and you lose here, the biggest thing is to not get tilted at the composition that they're facing, especially because they're facing it in the first half, right? If they go down heavily on defense because of what GX3 are bringing to the table with this comp, I really want to see kind of that mental reset at the half for N2L. Although it's not, you know, free. This is still a very strong defensive comp for GX3, but I think this is one. I mean, you and I were casting it. It was getting in our heads. It was getting in chat heads. It was so hard to watch, but it worked so effectively. So I think this could be what booms the mental for this N2L squad. But they're looking to take the fight right to them. And, you know, if you can't plant the spike, then there is no post plan. We'll see if that's the case. Get spotted out vulnerable by the alarm bot there. They will back away for just a second as Cat looks to get some damage downrange. Guiding Light gonna go through and it blinds. Actually gonna grab a teammate blind there as Curveball goes down. And we see a lobby fight, but not like this. They're up close and personal as the tailwind to get away. Cat's able to find one, so they're neutralizing this push. As the sky smoke comes down, GX3 are gonna take their lead.
Well, they might be able to find the C site for free, and it's still a risk because the Viper's alive, so too is that Brimstone. It's Artstar's job to try and anchor down here, and she doesn't have too much of an opportunity. Wall in her face, so it falls to this retake, Tanner.
And that's so difficult on pistols. That barrier orb gets so much value. Now that spike planted. Lacey making sure that nobody pushes on through. Ali going to be holding on to the rear as well. Two very low enemies here in Cat and Ariane Artist. Tough to push on through. Snake Bites there. Here comes the swing from the Phoenix. Cat Trigger getting some damage down. Jan now in a spooky spot. This is how you beat the lineup. This is how you beat the post plant. You force them to use the utility like they're doing here. Now, Maddie in a really good spot because he can just play the ring around the rosy game. Finally, Artstar will find the kill there, but do they have the time? The Cloudburst go through. The defuse now to follow. That should be just enough for N2L to grab themselves the pistol here. But wow, what an adjustment from what we've seen against this roster before, Mimi.
Yeah, I mean, we see A-lobby fights, but you don't oftentimes see that whole-on A-lobby war. That was a thing to set GX3 down a notch to begin with, but it seems like N2L was ready for that rotation. They still had utility from Artstar. I think it was wise of her to not take a fight there, just wait for the team's pressure from the flank because, well, the flank is so crucial when you're up against these lineups. They nullify them quickly, and that has me thinking, were they able to take a peek at that Serenity Purple bot? Were they ready for this play? Because they seemed prepared for it early on here as for N2L. They love their aggression, and we're seeing it here. It's a push down mid, and it's a punish on Annie.
Going up.
The kill traded back. Bit of a force up here. Spectre in the hands of Maddie, who on the Sage here on Haven still finds ways get aggressive, still finds ways to take awkward fights, especially with that wall. Now one player off the board is the Killjoy. So the start of the post plant now taken down as those nanostorms are not going to be available to go back to the slow GX3 playstyle. And I would feel like, you know, if you have one of them Verizon post-match interviews after this one, you really have to ask every team, how do you play against this? Because GX3, how do you not do this, right? How do you not bite off more than you can chew? How do you not get too aggressive against this incredibly slow playstyle?
Revealing area.
It's hard to say, and I'm excited to see N2L seeming to have some solutions early on, but GX3, like we mentioned, they did force up a little bit here, so they keep themselves dangerous, but Sarah is holding on this site. They will make their way past and attempt to commit this spike down barrier orb
30 seconds left.
the back lines, but Sarah
Spike
can
planted.
deny this Sage from rotating out, and early on we see the flank coming through again. They're not letting these lineups find impact, but Jan shuts down the flank. Now they have Long under their control, and Maddie's still on the site trying to fight. They line up, Maddie has 3, and GX3 win the force.
Wow, they force up, they get it done, and that right there, obviously an awkward round in general, but that to me is a statement round from GX3 saying we don't necessarily need the post plant to win it out here. We can get it done with the gunfights, and that's exactly what happened here as they swing. It's one watching Long, one trying to swing into the corner. Unfortunately, the shot's not on target. You're shooting through a teammate, and that still counts as a collateral when you are shooting through a teammate, so a difficult spot for the N2L roster, and now they find themselves on that lower economy, not going to force up like we saw from GX3. I mean, a very aggressive buy in this one as well. So four players stacked up out towards C-Long. Trying to punish.
No way.
Able to find one. Guiding light goes out, but it's going to get team flashes as well as Lacey with a trade of 2-for-1 overall. Sarah Star forced to back away 4 HP in a dream, staying alive. N2L just trying to do as much damage as they can here to the economy of the GX3 roster. Oh, the Trailblazer not going to find the kill. The resurrection to come on through, and they're investing a lot to win this round. As another kill comes through, it's all up to Artstar. 4 still remain off the back end of a resurrection. I believe an orb picked up, so Viper's Pit online. Now Artstar, probably not long for this world after getting spotted by the turret, but GX3, like I said, they invested a lot here, Mimi.
Oh, Artstar's dead to rights. Ali has the line held. And, well, she actually has the Viper's Pit up to work with as well. So this next round, definitely potent for GX3. But I like that we see GX3 adapting how to play around the aggression for N2L. Because if there's a hallmark for GX3, it's the post plant. And if there's a hallmark for N2L, it's the aggression. They love running it down on this defensive side, taking the fight straight to you. A lot of teams aren't ready for that. But this is where GX3's slow playstyle is good, right? Because we talked to Kath. She said when they play against GX3, they learn the discipline. They slow things down, they don't push it, they don't aggressive. That's how they shut GX3 down. But N2L, they're yet to learn that lesson.
Here.
Come on, let's go.
Nothing to lose now on their buy round. And triggered, using that run it back. Gonna try and get through his spot, and he pulled out. Able to get some damage, but not able to convert to a kill. As I believe a couple of members here for GX3 on those Spectres. Zari Anarchist now looking to show a bit of aggression herself. Will spot out the Killjoy. A one tap to the head. It's all it takes. The tailwind to get away. GX3 now down a player here. The slow playstyle starting to get punished just a bit as N2L continues the aggression.
Thrown down C long. That will be Artstar to refight this position, but they're working in towards B, and it's a retake setup for N2L. That's not what you like to see when you're playing against GX3, but the potent part of this play for N2L could still be the push, because there's Triggered anchored down towards lobby.
And it is that B plant, post plant play on the docket here for GX3. But N2L doing everything they can to try and pinch him back towards the spawn. Curveball. Gonna get a bit of a flash, but not enough there to keep Jam from finding a kill. It is traded back, and Ali was 5.6 HP. Turn in to find another kill. Sarah trying to find the spray down, and again, they don't need the post plant. They make it work by taking the fights and winning the rounds.
All right, well, GX3, it's not Maddie this time, but they're still a team that has a bit of a bond between Haven and running and gunning with the Spectre. Great work there from Ali to mop things up. And N2L, again, they're going to have to figure out that this B site is something that GX3 loves to abuse, because while they do default wall C practically every single round, it's not often that GX3 is just going to hard commit. They love playing this default. They love playing the mind games.
Here.
But N2L, they're still trying to work on this aggression. They have knives for Ari, and she's going to try and get some work done with him.
And so this is the default playstyle. Ideally should do well into N2L pushing aggressively, but they just haven't really been expecting the push. Now I would imagine we're 4 or 5 rounds in. The push is not going to get as much value as it once has. Obviously, this round is a little different because of the economy. But should we see more aggression from N2L? I think the slower playstyle from GX3 should come out on top. I would love to get this, the coding here, the crosshair. Oh my goodness, I do not know how that shot was not a headshot. Ali survives narrowly with her life. Will receive that healing orb off the back end to top off with the wall going up, the spike going down. It's the post plant once more for GX3.
Here it is, and it's just the pistols to try and find the retake for this N2L squad. What do they have to work with? Couple stars, placing that towards the back line. They know that Maddie likes to stay on the site, so we have to keep our eyes on Ari. Sole player with a real weapon here, and it's the Blade Storm up and over. The right click goes straight into the body of Madison, but there's a trade here to begin, and Lacey getting aggro, shuts down one. Lunar finds a frag with the pistol, but remember this post plant, because the mollies are already starting to rain in. Annie has this lurk coming forward. She'll shut down Lunar. Sarah's alone, a 1v3, and with the mollies in play, there's no chance for the round.
We get a very, very small taste of what the post plant looks like when you don't need the gunfights there from GX3. We saw Jan queue him up. We saw the poison cloud go down for Ali. I think it fell a bit short, but either way, they're able to buy enough time for that spike to blow. Once more for N2L, though, they are going to be back on those rifles. On the opposite end, the economy's starting to flourish for GX3. Even if they lose a couple of rounds, they're still in a very good spot. And I wonder, do they opt into using the Viper's Pit on site in the post plant, or is that ultimate kind of going to just fall by the wayside and they just, play the lineup?
It's a good question. One other option is that you can commit that ult and then use that assault and then fall back and play your lineups late round. There's lots of options. I'm sure we will see them use it eventually here, but they just haven't felt the need. However, in this one, Ari, she has an operator in play. In her previous teams, when she was kind of that ringer for TSM, she was normally the Viper player. She loves Viper, but her coach said, you're too good. We're kicking you off of the support agents. We're pushing you in the position to frag, and she's been doing well on it thus far. So with the operator in her hands, we'll have to see what she can get done. As for GX3, they're clearing space towards a lobby, but I believe they only spot out one.
And expecting a push, throwing up that turret was Annie. Now again, a C take kind of on the docket, and I don't see why not. N2L struggling to stop this one, and you kind of have to just dry swing into it, right? The dry peek here. The Seekers come through. Nebula Smoke gonna go down. A nice snake bite to clear out back side. Grabwell does pull them in, but they're backed off the site once more. The toxic screen.
30 seconds left.
For now, there's the Viper's Pit at the very least to get on the site and get the spike down. And is that planted in a different position? So it's actually not towards the back of the site. It's actually very close up front. And I don't know if they actually have the lineups for this. So they are going to be playing right on the inside of the Viper's Pit. Sorry, the first one to peek. Operator and Handcat are able to trade it back, so Maddie will fall. Ali now has the high ground for just a moment, but a 1-for-1 with the clock ticking bodes very well for GX3. Ali trying to find a spray down outside the smoke, and there goes the Viper's Pit. Annie on the flank, though, able to find one. Orbital strike still available. It's going to be queued up here by Annie. A 2v2 situation. Again, the clock is ticking. It's all up to Annie. That's enough time?
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Oh, it's so close. Comes down to the wire. But N2L pull it off. Sticking to half there was crucial. I gotta wonder, what was Jan doing? Because I think she heard the push coming. Maybe thought she had already committed the orbital strike. So just that little bit of mixed up timing allows the round for N2L. And I really like that retake from them. The fact that they give absolutely no time for GX3 to try and set up. They were instantly pushing in. They were instantly taking the fights. And I think that Ari did a very good job just being the pace setter there, right? She wasn't afraid. She created the space for the squad to capitalize off. And while she didn't get a frag herself, she did the work to get everyone else in a position to succeed. Because now it's a run it back forward, Forka triggered, clearing down mid already.
Not going to get much there, unfortunately. It does get sent back without being shot down, so still going to have the shields. Is that Phoenix? So it's the half armor on the rounds. Wintercats looks to go aggressive. Ali kind of clearing the corners of the time. Not there, and the spray down is for Lunar. Going to back away. Swing things in a favor of N2L here at the start of the round with a minute left on the clock. GX3 once more kind of just biding their time, figuring out where they want to go.
Kill my allies.
Seems to be another C hit as that recon bolt gets shot down. A guiding light went out for some information. It didn't find too much. And I love this from N2L. I love this, that nobody's pushing C yet. You know they want to hit B, so they put a couple of players here. They are going to start to give that one up as GX3 look to push that way through mid.
Oh, Ari in position to get something done, but the shot goes wide on the operator. Now B site open for business, so too is this post plant.
There it is, hot hands.
Spike planted.
It's going to be a bit delayed. The nano swarm to push everybody off to make sure that spike goes down, and you already see the setup coming on through. That Viper backed away. Jan as well. Like Lacey and Maddie going to be kind of holding it down in the crossfire, very close to the site, so you still have to answer for this. There goes the incendiary down on the spike. One kill to come on through. Sarah's able to find it. Maddie now in the tight corner. The blaze wall comes through. They look to go aggressive on the opposite end, but this goes on Jack. It goes on Jack for far too long as Maddie finds two. Annie to close it out with 3, and it's another round for GX3.
Nice work from GX3 there, again proving that if that spike goes down on the B site, the round can very well be over unless a push comes forward. N2L now, they've had a little bit of time to get acquainted to GX3's playstyle, so I wonder now, will we see them slow it down? Will we see them chill out a little bit and try and just play more onto these sites, fight forward? Because if you can just stall out GX3, play the time against them, you can really bring yourselves into a good position. That's what TSM was doing. That was the point of success, but here comes the aggression yet again. 2 pushing, no, 4 all the way down C long, and GX3 trying to fight this out. Ali stuck in a corner. Lacey dragged in by the Axter utility. It's Maddie now to reclaim this fight. Coming out on top is GX3 as Jan and the rest of her squad will start to back away, reassessing towards A. They're walking straight towards Artstar, however, she's revealed, getting spammed down. The headshot connects. Now GX3 have the site.
This is a completely different look than what we saw GX3 do to Serenity Purple, in the sense that they're being a bit more respectful, and I think that is what is working, right? They're being a bit more respectful and not just trying to storm onto sites where it looks like Nothing to Lose have ways to stop them pushing on. They're kind of making Nothing to Lose play their game rather than the opposite end and kind of playing aggressive into it, and it's working so incredibly well. They're winning the gunfights. They're incredibly fired up coming off of a loss to TSM. And at the end of the day, if you don't win the gunfights, you typically have somebody with the lineup somewhere, just like we saw Annie toss out that nano swarm. And the last 2 remaining here for Nothing to Lose, going to try and do some damage. But in the next couple of rounds, they've got to figure something out, or else GX3 just continues to run away with it on the attacking side.
And look at this discipline from GX3 too. They're not over pushing this. They're not over aggressing this. They know that N2L is most likely to be playing for this exit. So as a result, they're only going to lose 1 player at the end of that round. I think 2 in total. So GX3 sitting pretty. And for N2L, what do they have to work with? They have this Cypher to play around. So they've been kind of playing retake a little bit in towards B, committing that tripwire. We see it here again. But I really would like to see them just chill out, because like you mentioned, GX3, they have this aggression red. They know that N2L is going to be pushing. They know that N2L is going to be trying to find this space. And, well, feels like we're on repeat because it's coming out again. Ari pushing down. Ali sees it, forces the dash away. And now just GX3, they're just going to re-rotate around what they're seeing.
You should run.
And I don't think that this play style for N2L is a bad play style, but it needs to happen a bit later in the round. The early aggression is being read and they're not getting anything off of it. It just feels like they're just trying to ego every single time, which is what I would do when I'm frustrated by a composition. Now finally we start to see a bit of defense here as they play out towards the links inside the sky smoke though. For a second is Lacey as they start to win the gunfights once more. Finally, Lunar Cat to get something back. Artstar right there behind her as that spike goes down. We take a peek at where that Viper is. It's off the site. We take a peek at where the Killjoy is. It's off the site. They have to take the fights to him. And now Maddie the next one.
Enemy remaining.
We're having a solid round here in this one as Annie queues up the nano swarms. The only problem is those can be shot if timed correctly. Both of them going to go on through. Both of them going to be popped. And Annie now backed away by the cyber cages, has two very low members to worry about in this one. Finds the first onto Art, now looks for some more, and there it is. It's a 3K on the round, and it's a respawn clutch for Annie.
Annie, Maul, this is something we talked about in that Serenity Purple game as well. Even when you're not having to deal with the post-plant utility, you have to deal with Annie on the lurk. She's always going to be that last player alive, and she's so good on the clutch. We've seen it a couple rounds now, right? When they were executing C, she was always up garage, late round, finding her impact. Here she was playing back, watching that A flank with her turret, and then in the late round, she can just come in, she can almost always pull off those clutches, and it's just setting N2L in a tough spot. And they're kind of trying to continue this ego. They're trying to continue this aggression, and it's really not working. I like that they're taking it slow this time out. They're not fully giving the game away by just holding W down C.
Yeah, and the area that they're choosing to be aggressive in, especially here in window, is one that you can do so and go unchecked for a really long time, right? Because they're kind of hanging out in the spawn, it's not safe to push down A lobby. It's not safe to push down C long, but because nobody's really taking a peek out mid except for the occasional watching mid doors, you can get a lot done in window. It is going to be that one kill to come on through as Jan trades one back. The spike does get planted. Jan's 2 kills away from that orbital strike. Now 1 as she finds a kill onto Ari Anarchist. N2L down to their last 2, and this one started off as a thrifty round coming into it. It'd be pretty miraculous if they're able to pull this one off. That spike once more kind of planted in a different spot. Sarah finds shots onto one, now running out of time. I think the most you can hope for here at this point is doing damage to the economy that is flourishing for GX3. The shots go wide with the Marshall. Artstar trying to back away, but maybe just needs to go down on the sword. A couple of right clicks from Maddie will not only secure that kill, but secure the round. A 3K for the Sage, and GX3 pushed to 8.
I'm going to remind everyone of something also. This comp is stronger on the defense, generally, because you have so much utility to hold things down. And right now, GX3 is up 8-2. They're looking to get more done. It is the buy back in now for N2L, which is good. They have the blades for Ari. Brunel's working with a rifle, but they've yet to find a way to play around GX3. It looks like they're trying to go for this A lobby fight again, and GX3, as a result of that, are actually putting a bit more pressure in towards mid. They know that mid has been one of the few areas where N2L's pushes have found a bit of success, so I like that adaptation. Sarah trying to get aggressive down long, but she only gets information, no kills to follow.
And the scariest thing about this is if you're N2L and you start to play slow, there is never a situation where you can say, hey, let's just stack a site and we'll play retake somewhere else. Let's just play more towards C, we'll play retake on B. Or let's play more, let's go 3 and 2, split C and B, and play retake on A, because the post plan is always something that you have to be wary of. So it is incredibly difficult for them to find their footing. 8-4 obviously would be pretty spectacular if they could pick it up here at this point. The wall goes up. The spike actually not headed this way. It seems like it's swinging out towards C, and I wonder how much this is going to get done. Run it back, use. That trigger jumping out towards mid. The blade's right behind, and Annie might get some value. Shots on target. The right click goes wide.
30 seconds left.
The blade storm here for you as Annie finds another. Maddie across the map is able to pick one up, and I mean, the fake towards B works so incredibly well. The spike goes down. Sarah trying to find something onto the brimstone. Now it's all up to Cat Triggered here. A 1v4 situation with a resurrection and an orbital strike to worry about.
Can much to be done in this round anymore. It's Madison to find that shutdown, and
Last
for
round
GX3,
before
it's
the
another
switch.
round on the board. They're continuing this trail forward, looking for a 10-2 half. And just look at the buy that's going to get mustered for N2L. It's an operator on RE, but 2 SMGs out for her teammates. And for GX3's side, they have a Killjoy lockdown. The lockdown pairs so well because it forces N2L to play retake, and that's just when they lose. I don't think there's been a round really where the post plan is fully established and N2L can pick it up. Yeah, they have those 2 rounds on the board, those 2 retakes that they have them, but it's just there's no consistency. There's no good solution. Maybe it's Ari with the op, but again, GX3 doesn't like peeking here.
Recovering it.
The only thing they really seem to peek is out towards C, but if you're there with the operator, you're just going to eat 3 guiding lights, and then the take is eventually going to come on through. The information's going to be there. We'll see if Annie does get aggressive. Pushing up towards that mid window. Not going to give up anything just yet. And we're seeing adaptations here from N2L, and this is surely the round to do it. That Trailblazer, bit of information. You have to be expecting that the Cypher's been playing here for basically the entire game. So if there was anybody, it would be the Cypher. So one spotted out in that Sova. Sarah Star. That trigger. Gonna kill the curveball. And Lacey there. Beautiful timed shots. 2 quick kills come on through. And the gunfights just continue to swing the way of GX3. Now N2L, a player down in the retake. The lockdown pushes everybody away for a moment. Here comes that GX3 post plant.
Resurrection's up as well. This is going to have to be a 5v3. Art's done well to find herself that initial frag onto Annie, but this time she has no tailwind, just has to take these fights, and she'll lose out to Maddie. Now, 2v5, Artstar working the retake, and tucked in is Lacey. She will fall at the hands of the Cypher, but Maddie's on the scene to clean up the first, and leave Artstar alone in this clutch. Some information. She's stuck on the other side of this wall. The Molly's already raining in. One does miss, but an orbital strike is out. Everything but the kitchen sink. He's thrown at Artstar, and she can't muster.
Yeah, I mean, even in a situation like that, you throw out the neural theft and you see, oh, the Brimstone and the Viper are playing light years away from the site. I am all by myself. And, of course, they've got lineups. And on top of the lineups, an orbital strike as well.
It's so hard to play against. Now we do look at the attacking side for N2L, and this is where their aggression starts to come home. They're very good at just taking things quickly, finding these executes, but that's exactly what GX3 counters. When you run a comp like this for GX3, the job of the attackers is to draw out as much utility as possible before committing, because when you commit in early, when you just send it immediately, there will be a hellstorm of mollies, of flashes, of walls to keep you at bay, and early on we see it. There's a wall in towards short from Maddie. There's a fight from long. Now the support is here is N2L just trying to 5-man it up towards A.
Chipping away there at the wall. Yeah, that's a tough one. You just hear the knives going to work there. They finally get through just enough to be able to push up towards the A site. The spike is still here, hovering out towards A long, so they haven't really turned their heads towards another site just yet. But in cutting noise, I think they're expecting GX3 to make that call, that they're headed somewhere else. They don't need 3 on this site, but until proven otherwise, GX3 are just going to hold steady.
Yeah, so with this setup, Ali can have impact on A without even being here, because she can just pop that Viper wall up at any time and try and contain this play. They have KJ locked down completely, well, KJ locking down completely towards mid with all of her utility. So that's off the table. C site likely the easiest here to take, but there's a jump peek underway. Ali tucking in and out of cover, finds the information, has her mollies down, and this will give time for the team to rotate in.
30 seconds left.
And it's just like you said, it doesn't get any better for the attacking side of N2L in terms of the GX3 composition. So incredibly hard up close and personal. 1 shot, 2 shot. Unfortunately, not going to have more than that, so only good for a 1-for-1. Ali tossed out all the utility available to the Viper, which eventually results in her death with 10 seconds on the clock. Artstar looking to get that spike down. They should be able to do so with those mannequins beautifully placed on the opposite side. They're able to clean up. They're able to do N2L in, and with 3 remaining, GX3 will grab the pistol.
That retake is so incredibly clean out of GX3. And you see the issue there within, because GX3 still had so much utility to work with in the post-plant. They had Sky Smokes, they had, well, Sky Flashes, and, well, it only takes one bird to blind everyone on the site to set Maddie up for success, because already N2L was low. I don't think we even touched on this. It's another potent part of this setup, because eventually, when you're playing against a no-duelist comp, you're going to have to fight through a molly. You're going to have to fight through a wall, and you're already so low into those late rounds. I can only imagine how tilting this is to go up against.
And opting into a semi-save here. The two duelists gonna grab a ghost. Cat triggered. Raidiant to have herself a sheriff. The rest of the squad holding on to those classics, looking to eventually play for the inevitable overtime here, the inevitable match point. Jan swings around through the nebula smoke. She will go. She's gonna net 2 kills, toss out a Molotov, and with that incendiary be no longer on the menu for this N2L squad as they're forced to back away. At this point, you can kind of just send it, right? You're expecting to lose this round anyway.
One
The
enemy
anti-eco, but trying to do some damage in the name of the game. It's all down to Sarah Star at any moment. 3K closer and closer. Not only the Killjoy lockdown in utility, but Killjoy lockdown in the ultimate. Now match point for GX3. And Mimi, you kind of talked about this being tilting, and this is what we talked about coming into this one too, right? Is how can N2L battle back mentally against the, I didn't title it this, but the cringe comp,
Yeah, the cringe comp. I'm glad to see we're bringing that one back.
Yeah.
But also for N2L, the mental's not going to be feeling too good, I'd imagine, because across these last 3 games, so the 2 C9 white games and now this one, they've won a total of 8 rounds. 3 games they haven't broken double digits, and well, now it might be all over because Jan's found an entry running down Lacey, spots out Ari. Ari will swing forward, deals some damage, but there's a bird in her face. Doesn't matter, shot comes through, so N2L playing advantage.
There's the incendiary though to keep our anarchist at bay. And it is 2 kills over to the side of N2L on their full buy round. Just the bonus here for GX3 as Annie looks to bring up the reinforcements here, trying to link up with Jan over towards the A site with that drone coming on through. Brings the Killjoy back. Yellow drone spots out the information, all the information that it needs. The Sky Smoke queued up, and inside the iPad, Jan was stuck, and Ariana can find another kill. Now the daggers opted into being used here in this round just to secure it. With 2 kills swinging the way of GX3, N2L will close out the round.
You can see just the rage at which Ari is playing with. She is just like sending it as much as possible, disrespecting. These are the plays you need to get things in the right order.
BYB fam.
And this timeout from, okay, this is interesting. It's an N2L timeout. I didn't expect them to be pulling this one out right now, but I presume they're just trying to look at a solution towards consistency because they have to play against this lockdown.
And it's also probably we need to chill out. We need to take a breath. This is winnable. We've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds in a row before. It has happened. Maybe not against this GX3 squad or the same composition, but it's in the cards. It is possible. So I would think that this is kind of for everybody to take a step back and realize what's at stake here in this round. Do you just using the knives in a situation like this? That felt like just not necessarily tilt, but a situation where it's like, I'm just sending everything I got to secure every round. And that could have been something that maybe they hang on to in a situation where, you can get a bit more. You don't obviously have another eco round coming up because if you lose the game. But maybe a situation where Ari Anarchist needs to find multi-frags, needs to close the gap and hit a couple of right clicks with that Blade Storm. That round was definitely not it. Now at the back end of a timeout, 9 in a row. I guess it would be 10 in a row total for N2Ls. What they need to string together to hang on here in Haven. We'll see if this is the start off the back end of that timeout.
Hey, well, at least they've done just as well as Serenity Purple at this point. Got things 15 rounds and flashing in for Lacey. Still, what? I don't know what's going on there, but regardless, Lacey will fall. Triggered picks up an entry for this N2L squad.
The toxic screen still proving troublesome though. We'll see once that toxic goes down, or the toxins go down, excuse me, N2L do decide to push up. They are still 5 strong, and they're all 5 stacked up towards this A site. So they're not trying to play any lurks. They're not trying to do anything funky. They're looking to have power and numbers. And this is one of those situations where you say, hey, it's a 5v4. Let's not get too crazy. Let's not do too much. They take a quick take onto the A site. This one for free. No cashier at the counter, so they're going to leave the spike on the counter. Maybe walk away from this one for a post plan of their own.
They have lockdown here for Animal to try and work this retake, and N2L's ready for it. They're going to try and get aggressive off it.
One enemy remaining.
But to no avail. They take the fight right to him before the ultimate can even pop, and Artstar comes up huge, very quiet, as there wasn't much action over towards the solo hold on defense towards A for Artstar, but now on the attacking side, starting to come online, being a bit more vocal for N2L.
This should do.
GX3, they're going to be reset down onto the safe here. I don't know how I felt about committing that lockdown there, because I feel like it was a situation where they were already down a player. They don't need to be greeting for rounds. They only need one more. I almost would have liked to see them just save onto it, use it for a round that they can almost assure closing out. But there's also the case to be made about keeping this economy of N2L accountable. And well, they might just do that because it's aggression down long, and they find 2 entries. No trade potential, and now they might have guns if they greed for them.
And we always see this. This is something that you can never count out, but it's that eco win when you're not expecting it. It's the sheriff starting to do damage. And right now, it's that spike headed over towards the A site. The 2 on the site need to hold it down for a second. Huge kill with that to 1. Sarastar needs to lock it down and needs to find an ace here, Mimi, in order to keep the dream alive here on Haven for N2L.
Spike on her back, so she'll make this rotation. In a minute on the clock, she's actually heading back A. Cutting noise is faked out too, so GX3 splitting up, and there is that Brimstone orbital strike in play. Bird forward, won't find information. Allie might be lulled into a sense of security. However, she gets away, now has the information. Sarah on the plans. Out comes the Brimstone ult. She's just holding in it. Well, okay, that's it. The Brimstone ult will do it in. GX3 rip off the Band-Aid in 13-4, finish off N2L, and take their map pick.
Thrifty.
I really hope that was off the back end of that virus Thrifty to close things out for GX3. I'm really hoping for N2L that wasn't the, I guess, a depiction of where the mental is at, but more so maybe Sarastar not thinking that she was inside the orbital strike or something of the sort, because that is a very strange way to kind of let that game go. I don't know about that one.
I don't know. It got a little weird towards the end, but Tanner, it felt like there was never really a way for them to even get their foot out the gate. Their aggression was perfectly countered. Like, I feel like this is a matchup where it's like almost like Lego bricks or something. It just slots perfectly in, where GX3's slow defaults counter out the aggression so much here for N2L.
Yeah, no, it was again, that I think is the test to the mental now for N2L as they go over to their map pick and breeze. Things get, I don't know, things get dicey, but we'll see how that shakes out and if they can recover, guys. We have to hop to a quick break. When we come back, we're headed over to Breeze.
And there we are. Hello, welcome back to the VCT Verizon Game Changers presented by Dignitas. We just watched, GX3 take map number 1 in a very convincing fashion against team Nothing to Lose. And they are fighting for their lives here in Game Changers as we queue up, the highlights of that match. Uh, Tanner, I'm going to start with you this time around. Give us a little bit of a recap here as far as what we're watching and what went down.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of what we saw in the open quals with GX3, where they play this incredibly, again, it's very tilting, kind of titled the cringe comp in the post plant, but I really enjoy throughout this entire game. They played this differently. It wasn't the same, although it was still annoying, right, to, I'm sure, play against. GX3 just seemed better in all aspects. They were winning fights. They were playing the post plant when they needed to. They were kind of using some utility to stop flanks instead of using it for the post plant, which would then lead again to fights. And yeah, it really felt like GX3 were firing on all cylinders as a whole, when I was expecting to see a whole lot more of that. Ali and Jan kind of just back away while the rest of the team fights. And then they just, use the snake bites or use the incendiary. I was really impressed by the changes made by GX3.
Yeah, man, I think that they really picked things up in a huge way there. And I mean, we expected them to do well on Haven, but I thought that there was going to be a little more fight in N2L. They got one more round than Serenity Purple, but that was it. And I think it just took them too long to calm down. They love their aggression, they love holding W, but when teams can play against that, when they can figure out how to counter it out, it gets really risky. And I mean, we saw it there. They never changed it up. They never found their solution, and GX3 just bowled them over.
Yeah, and we're looking at the stats information, or as you saw it kind of flash on your screen there from the players. I mean, honestly, watching that match, I was wondering, man, Maddie, she is popping off on that stage, but Annie on that Killjoy, she was doing really well. And I'm like, it could be anybody's game at this point as far as who's going to be that NYX Cosmetics match MVP. But obviously, Maddie takes that home. But we do have our next map coming at you very shortly. It is Breeze. We do see, coming into this, as you guys already talked about, and I'm going to swing that back to you again, Mimi, because you've talked about this before. The performance that N2L has on Breeze, knowing that this is their map pick, what should we expect to see here then?
I'm gonna be real, I don't really know what we should expect besides more aggression. I'm hoping they're gonna pull out the Viper. I'm wondering if they're gonna let Ari play into her Viper, or if she's gonna stick with the Duelist. I'd imagine probably the Jet, because she does love offing, and this is such a powerful map for it. But I'm also a little worried about N2L, because I feel like if they're gonna just keep the aggression up, if they're gonna just keep the same train rolling, which I imagine they will, because Breeze is a map that really leans into that aggression, then GX3 might just be able to do the same thing. They might be able to counter it out, and we've never seen them play it officially, but who knows how prepared they are going into this. This map is a complete shot in the dark that if GX3 is not ready for it, they could get rolled over. It could be N2L back into things, but with how dominant that first map was, I could definitely see, I don't know, GX3 pulling something off here.
I am completely on board as well. I think GX3 have a really good shot into this one, especially because coming into Breeze, you're going to shy away from the post-plant meta. It's a little bit harder to kind of get in certain positions like that, given the A and the B side and the way that everything is shaped out. But then you kind of lean towards the long-range gunfights, and GX3 was also winning those. So I think coming into this one, Nothing to Lose need to have a full mental reset after Haven. And it was Artstar who was at the top of the leaderboard in terms of kills on Haven, which is not a player that you're expecting when you have names like Ari Anarchist on the Duelist and players like that, right? Cat Triggered on the Phoenix. You're expecting them to do a bit more. So I'm hoping for a complete mental reset that'll eventually take us to a game 3, because this is, Nothing to Lose maps pick.
For sure, and I know that we're probably getting up and getting ready here for the SIG Agent Select queuing up right now. And as I say, there it is. Breeze is the play. So Tanner, Mimi, take us in.
All right, Tanner. Well, I am excited what we're going to be looking at in way of comps and Ari hovering
No
the
way.
Yoru.
No way.
No way. That's got to be a lie, right? Well, we'll have to see. But over for GX3, I'm liking the comp we're seeing. I think it was the same as we saw on Breeze earlier in that it's that double duelist Viper Sky Sage.
Yeah, this is gonna peek. It looks fairly mirrored outside of the initiators. Once we see Ali lock in that Viper again, this is a map where you get to see the Viper only controller. I think it gets a lot of value. I am again really interested to see the reset here. I believe it was Ari Anarchist who is basically like a Viper main, or was before getting swapped over to Duelist, now back on the Viper. So I'm expecting some sneaky tricks as a whole on this map. Maybe that's why they opt to going into it here or on Breeze just in general. So that way Ari can play the Viper. But it's going to take a whole lot. This pistol round is going to tell us a whole lot as well, right? You see a couple of ghosts popping out here for GX3 on the attack. And again, the long range battle is the name of the game here on Breeze.
That it absolutely is, but N2L could be on their last legs here. They're down a map, and this is tournament life on the line. If they lose out here, they're knocked out in that 7th-8 finish, only taking home $1,000 out of that $50,000 prize pool. So lots to do here for N2L, as GX3 on their defense, actually looking to get some aggression of their own in towards A.
Still in sight.
Okay, the Duelist's gonna go right to it, looking to push the fight up close and personal. No long range battles here this time around as the guiding light goes through. Able to find the flashes and the information. Maddie picks up one. Lacey looking to find another up the back end of a Trailblazer. Instead, it's Annie Mall to find that kill, but it's too quick the way of GX3. And again, the gunfights just continue to go their way. Now we get some of that Viper utility coming up from GX3 as they look to take the site. The spike yet to be planted. As that wall goes up, coordinate the team off. Jan's able to find one, dismissed to get away. It's 20 HP on Lunar Cats here on the Sage. The healing orb used, but it's 2 players remaining. It's Lunar Cats, it's Ari Anarchist. Now it's all up to Ari with the Frenzy in hand. A near flawless for GX3 as they battle back off a win on map 1 and grab the pistol here in map 2.
Yeah, and they looked really good on that pistol as well. N2L looking for their traditional aggression as we expected. And GX3 at this point, they have that red. They fight right back in, find a double entry for free off of it, and then just worm their way into the site. Now the buy-up is looking stellar. I'm surprised Ari is investing into that Frenzy. Normally not what you would expect, but especially on a map like Breeze, but we'll see what they can get done with it.
It's exciting to see how well read that push was from GX3. There's not a whole lot of footage. Obviously, I think N2 will have one competitive on this, and that was the Shopify Rebellion. So maybe they did take a peek at that one to see that they like to play aggressive nice and early. Barrier orb going to be used nice and early out towards the safe site. Shot down almost immediately. So a small gap to work with for GX3 as they look to grab some claim to the land here on A site. Viper wall goes down. Toxic screen is up. Jan gonna find a spray through. Not gonna get anything just yet. There goes the Lear, but Maddie on the opposite side gonna be okay for now. Lacey just running, and Dawn will find two with the anti-eco. They're trying to do the damage to the economy. There's just not a whole lot to be found, as once more it's Ari on the flank. I would imagine they've sniffed this one out. It's gonna be completely pinched with 34 HP. Now backing away. Where's that defender-sided spawn? Just trying to play the cheeky angle here and do some damage to the eco.
Ali should be in a position to shut this down. Ari now completely known, and Ali does finish things off nicely for this GX3 squad. And going forward now, we will have the buy-up for N2L. GX3 just playing into the bonus. It's going to be a pretty strong bonus at that, only losing Animal, but against a team that does pull out so much aggression, that does push so much, I feel like this bonus can still be potent, because you're really able to isolate these duels, especially when N2L decide for the aggression towards A.
Yeah, when you take a peek at the economy as well, right? It's full rifles across the board, but there's a couple of light shields. So that goes, it looks that much more scary, especially in the hands of Annie Mall, who we've seen just on that last map do incredible things. in terms of winning gunfights. As Ali finds one, that's the lower shields on Ari Anarchist. 2 quick kills gonna be traded right back. Now make it 3 on the board. Sarah Star for 1, but the resurrection comes through. GX3 looking like a flawless, although it isn't. All 5 still stand up the back end of a resurrection. This is the round they were expected to lose, but GX3 are trying to find a way to get it done. They're trying to find a way to win this one out with the door opening and a Lear queued up. Artstar, Lunar Cats, they might just be forced into a save here.
Well, they're not being given the opportunity, getting hounded down by Lacey. She finds one, and Artstar does shut down for a double. Actually becomes winnable now, but the time's ticking away. They know where she is. The flank's coming through, and there's no shot for the Reyna. 3-0 up now for GX3. We said that bonus would be potent, but Tanner, that was huge round for GX3 to win. N2L gotta be reeling a little bit here.
Yeah, I thought it was, you get a double dink with the Ghost, and, you're in a pretty good spot against those light shields. Maybe at longer ranges, it doesn't have the same value against full armor, but instead it was the Spectre that gets even more value than the Ghost would. Ali pushes on through, finds a kill onto Ari, opens things up again completely. And because this is a map where you only have one controller, when you lose that Viper nice and early, it feels bad no matter what the situation is. So now back on an eco, I believe a Guardian is bought up. They look to go aggressive. And Triggered's able to find one. Sarah picks up another. 1 kill traded back by Maddie. So N2L have the numbers advantage for now as Lacey trying to back everybody up out towards the same main area. Guiding lights go through. No information to be found there just yet. And it looks like A might be the final destination here for GX3.
Likely here, Lacey getting thrown out, but will only reveal one player. Seekers into play here for GX. They have to take these fights. Already down a player in the blind. Lacey connects the first frag eventually and has the adjustment. Second, though, won't come. It's Sarah Star to reply, and the plant coming through nearly does Jan in, but she'll stay alive for the moment. And now in this 2v3, Ali's fighting forward, has found herself a frag, and this gets super dangerous for N2L as it's just left to Artstar.
Snake bites. Force Ali off the position for a second. Poison Cloud. Gonna go down now.
One enemy remaining.
Target in the hands, and Ari makes it hurt here, looking to pick it up. It's 1 round to N2L. They finally sneak something out. They're going to toss that ultimate on over. Ari will have the Viper's Pit online, but a Virus Thrifty will put N2L on the board.
Great plays from Ari there. I think I accidentally said it was just Artstar for a moment, but of course Ari is still there. She's got that World War II Guardian in hand. She may have moved on from Battalion, but she's still making it look good. 3-3 now for the Viper. And I don't think we had a whole ton of time to talk about Ari playing Viper, but it's like her favorite agent. When she was doing that kind of ringer for TSM, when she was subbing in after they lost Lunar Cats, she was basically went to TSM, was like, hey, I want to play Viper. I have my lineups. I have my setup. Let me try and make this work. And while they didn't win the games, it got pretty close. She was making the impact on that character. So I'm excited to see Ari having the freedom to bring back this classic agent because, well, it is very utility heavy. It also does set herself up for success. She can still be fragging on this character for sure.
And now GX3 kind of put in a position where they have to start to show a bit more respect to this N2L squad. Being able to pick up around. And I don't even know what kind of is verified or verifies a thrifty round anymore, because a Guardian was bought up in that round and it still counted as a Virus Thrifty for N2L. So I'm gonna need somebody to school me up on that as to what equals a clutch and what equals a thrifty. But more importantly, about to see this 5v5 take place here. The Lear's gonna be traded out and looking to drop down. Kill on to 1. Sarah Star is there to trade it back. The upshot gonna go wide, but it's Maddie to hop on the board for GX3. Only 2 remain here for N2L, and it's starting to get a whole lot more difficult. They get corralled out towards the mid doors. Lunar's able to find one, and he still has the high ground, but not going to push out just yet, so the numbers get whittled down just a bit more.
Player standing.
As Lunar Cat looks to push up, try and take the fight. Annie, who had the high ground for a moment, then dash away. Cat Trigger trying to sneak out with the operator in hand, unfortunately unable to do so. Solid flank from Ali will net another round for GX3. And again, they give the respect, and then they win another round.
X3 definitely looking pretty good here. And for N2L, they have 4 ults to work with on the board here. Ari investing into the Guardian, pistols across the board for everyone else. And pulling back a little bit, we got to get worried. How much will N2L be able to rely on their attack? Versus Shopify Rebellion, they took a 5-7 half with them only claiming 5 on that attacker's side. So generally, this defense is where we're going to feel a little bit more at home, a little bit stronger. So would love to see N2L start to pick it up here soon. Triggered with the Blade Storm, Ari with that aforementioned Guardian. These heroes could definitely make it work.
I think it's a great point that you brought up when you're talking about a map that you might not be too comfortable or familiar on. I think it does feel better to start on the defensive end of things, right? Because then you don't really have to make the play. It's up for the attacking team to come to you and try and make a play. So with GX3 having, you know, nothing competitively on Breeze in the stats column, this is a very strong start. And I mean, they've got the strats. They've obviously put in at least theory crafting to be able to not only do what they've done, get a 4-1 lead, but then to make a play like this where they get a B site completely for free.
It's just a really nice mid-rounding. It's the fundamentals that GX3 is so strong at. And Jan, well, she's always holding the flank, shuts down Artstar. So N2L, they still have Blades, they still have a Guardian, and they have to work back in.
Ooh, just narrowly missing out on each other through the poison
Last
cloud.
player
They're
standing.
gonna find something. Now the only one standing here for N2L finds damage onto 1, but it's Madison. Find a 3K on the round, punishing yet again another retake from N2L. That one, an eco by with just the blades behind it. Now with full rifles, N2L have to try again.
They do. They get another opportunity for Artstar on the off. Previously, we saw Triggered picking it up, so it's interesting to see Art giving herself the opportunity on that weapon. And now GX3, they're again posturing in towards B. I love the B site execute that we saw in the previous round. Like you mentioned, it allowed them just to completely free walk up, and it might just be that again because N2L, they're committing a wall here and then just falling back. They've actually only left a singular player in way of Lunar Cats to defend this entire site. However, there will now be a rotation in. Ari defending that rotator. She'll actually push up mid. Timing.
Oh, yeah, spotted out there, so they know a player out towards mid. It does kind of take away the map, though, right? You still have to be incredibly wary of pushing this way because Ari is playing there. Sarah looking to bring up the rear. The Owl Drone is there again. On the opposite side, has the tracking to get it done. Unfortunately, forced to dismiss away, so lower on HP is the Reyna, but it's GX3 again. A player ahead with 4 to worry about for N2L. Resurrection is available.
Spike planted.
The spike plant comes down, and it's another retake situation. And again, the gunfights have just been going the way of GX3. N2L completely suppressed as they try and get anything done here on Breeze. This is their map pick. GX3 coming in so well prepared. Danny spots out one. Cat Trigger gonna take her down. Jan looks away at the wrong time. Shot in the back, and they make me eat my words. This is the caster curse here. There's only 2 remaining. Make it 1. Ali now needs to come up huge stalwart in the defense, but not gonna be able to do so. N2L, they battle back with a beautiful retake here to grab their second.
Yeah, it was really well coordinated on that retake. The fight in towards B main was incredibly crucial because you saw there was a couple players tucked in trying to hold on to that extremity. But they were able to deal with that rather quickly. They were able to dispose of those positions that get so useful late into that Spike's timer. And from then on out, they still had the flashes. They still had the utility to clean up shop. So N2L, they'll pull things up to 2. They're going to keep this operator into play for Artstar and weapons across the board, but they're yet to fracture GX3's eco as they maintain on full rifles. Now their ult economy not looking too bad either. Resurrection in play for both squads as well as N2L. A little extra to work with.
Fight for 2 here. Triggered able to come out on top. Jan gonna be punished for getting aggressive, forcing out the resurrection, but the numbers dwindle down again as Artstar finds a kill. with the operator. Things get even though with Ali holding the flank. Our
got your
anarchist,
trail.
unfortunately, just not in the position to trade that one out. So 4v4. Their Seekers going through the guiding light with some information that they're still on the site. The Seekers will be taken down after finding a tag, but no harm, no foul. The spike to be planted and a full retake now to ensue. Hunter's Fury gonna try and clear out the site here. A bit of friendly fire, but that's a-okay as long as they're landing shots on target. The healing orb used onto Lacey. N2L struggling to get in. They're working against the clock. They're gonna have to make something happen here soon. The guiding light pushes one away. Snake bites used as well. Lacey tucked away behind the barrier orb here. Ari gonna go up on top of the wall. Not spawn Lacey just yet. Finally gets the back down there. Their trade kills come on through. Now it's all up to Artstar with the operator and 2 players to worry about, but Annie to close it out. GX3 secure 6.
Wow, great work there from GX3. Even when they're not fully committed to the play, they still look incredibly strong in these post plants. Lunar Cats especially just having a bit of a rough time getting kind of taken care of fast on the retake. But the Sage that I feel like is definitely finding impact, even if it's not in the frag department, is Annie Mall. Her walls have been really good and kind of creative. Not normally what I would think of when you're talking about these Sages in play. You see there's one there to cover the cross in towards A. When they're planting B, she puts it kind of around that pillar to allow them more space to extend. So even if they haven't played this officially, like you said, it's clear they've put some time in behind the scenes.
There's only been 1 round on the half, I believe, where GX3 have gone somewhere else once that Viper wall has been committed, and it worked. That's when they took B for free once, and then in the last time they committed the ultimate towards B, they ended up losing that round. So kind of building this baseline, I think it's working incredibly well for GX3 as the guiding light goes through. Lunar Cat's trying to dodge out on that one. It's an eco round here for N2L, but what can they get done with it? The frenzy shot's gonna go wide for Lunar Cats, though. Not gonna find a target. Only down to 20 HP, so barely is able to chip away as we're down to the last. The damage has been done in terms of the players, but either way for GX3, we got ourselves a secret lab flawless.
I think one of the first ones we have seen in this map of Breeze. And I have to kind of call back to a question we've asked a couple times, Tanner, and that is, what is the mental looking like right now for N2L? Because I know that they have lost now 3 maps in a row, and they're looking rough on the map that they chose to take us to, on the side that they generally feel more confident on. This is getting really scary. This is getting tough, so they have to make sure, they have to kind of rely on those experienced members to bring everyone down, bring everyone to reality. Know that they're not out of this one yet, that they can still bring it back. But if there's a tilt factor coming into play, if they're losing their mental now, then I don't really see a road forward.
It's definitely going to take some heroics, right? We've seen a lot of players like that. The confidence-based players start to string things together off the back end of 2Ks, 3Ks, some clutches to come on through. There hasn't really been a position for N2L or a time for N2L to be in a position like that. And early in this one, it's aggression out towards the tube, back towards the spawn even. And unfortunately, that's going to be punished. So GX3, a player ahead in this one. That was one of 3 ults that were available for N2L. Now it's just the Viper's Pit. And, well, not even the Viper's Pit as our Anarchist gets punished out towards mid.
Enemy kill.
And doing a good job lurking. Cat Trigger's there, though. Trade one back. Maddie goes down. Guiding light goes through. And on the opposite side of the toxic screen, 3 members awaiting. Cat looks to peek. Shot from the rear. It's Jan again on the flank to get something done. The resurrection to come on through in a 4v2 situation. Jan taken off the board, as is Annie. Blades are still online. Should Maddie choose that she needs them or opt into using them, she feels she needs them, but very healthy. Again, another post-plant situation, and Lacey dancing around the pyramids. Oh, getting actually spotted out there, now trying to bait out the resurrection. As Cat comes back online. Thanks to Lunar Cats, unfortunately going to be taken right back down. Lacey still dancing around the pyramids.
One
Viper
enemy
very
remaining.
far away from this one. Lunar Cats, oh my goodness, no, the lineups, but there's no poison cloud. She's gonna look to stick it. Ali is there. Oh my goodness, Ali, that was way too close for comfort.
Oh my god, Allie's gonna give me a panic attack for a second there. No way that it takes that long to finish off her food, but it does eventually happen. I mean, the round, I think at that point, was already won. There was no way for that defuse to come through, and the lineups were looking pretty successful. N2L, now, I think it's another situation where I'd love to see them trying to work these flanks, because we saw that early on, right? There was a couple rounds where Ari worked a flanker, it was triggered as well, trying to make those plays happen, and it found some mixed bag of success, but it's been a while since they've done it. It's been a while since they've gone back to their aggression, and at this point I wouldn't hate to see it, as it is triggered, fighting her way down mid, looking for some info, but speak of aggression, it's punished by Jan. Ari's down, advantage GX3.
And Jan is such a problem on any map on the Reyna. Just playing, not only is playing aim lab here, having a good old time, just popping grapes, but on the lurk, getting so much space. While all of this is happening, the flank is coming and Jan is dead. But a 3K and an open A site, that's what Jan gets done. And that's exactly what they were talking about when they brought Jan up in the interview. Just the power of the zoomer there on the Reyna. I mean, that was a flawless round played out by Jan.
Retake now will fall to 2. It is triggered and it is hard to start to work back in. Face off, and next right click goes big, but Lacey has the trade by 2. It's GX3 finding 9 rounds now.
Last
and
round
they did
in the half.
try the aggression that we were kind of chatting about, but it doesn't work out. I think if the aggression's going to come, it needs to be late round. It needs to be those late round information pushes, because GX3 has it read that N2L likes the early pushes, likes the early fights, so they play around that.
Now, last round of the half, 7 ultimates online, 4 on the side of GX3. And the only thing that I could really think of is we might see an early Viper's pit over towards this A site. What better time to use it? I guess our anarchist would know best.
I've got
In
your
that Viper main, Peek is going to be used for the information to push up through tube. And again, yeah, just timing. GX3 able to get so much work done in that timing department, and once again it's Jan able to do so. Forced to back away though after giving up her position and finding a bit of damage inside the tube. But with that, GX3 gonna go back to the drawing board and figure out where they want to hit next.
The rotation is coming in towards this B site. No one immediately here to hunker down for the N2L side. They're still expecting GX3 to re-exec, and well, they're not totally wrong, because Maddie is holding tight, trying to hold against the push. Well, that's what Artstar's going for, and Artstar actually wins it. Great shot to follow up, but there's more members of GX3 here. She confirms the information and will fall back.
Yeah, the Empress Online allows for the heal and the dismiss there to get away, so perfect timing. Yes, GX3 now a player down, and Jan looking to do it again. Finds her counterpart, and Artstar takes
left.
down and dethrones the Empress. Has one of her own. Should Jan choose to use it here, and there it is now popped online as the rest of the squad looks to turn their sights onto B. This one should be free. We'll see what Lunar Cats get done. Nope. Okay, the wall goes up. Viper's pick goes up, and Allie gonna be punished there, standing out in the open. The spike needs to be planted. 10 seconds left on the clock. Animal finally gonna get that one down, and once more Jan goes on the flank. Here's Airy Anarchist. Now Pain in the side here as Lunar will fall. The ultimate to come on through and catch triggered.
Oh no!
The shot there. No scope, not gonna land. The frenzy will get it done, but in the 1v1, it doesn't matter. Annie comes out on top. What a round here from GX3, and again, it was Jan to kick things off.
What a round, and well, what a half overall. GX3, that round showed how patient this team is. And well, the patience was a fault against TSM, but in this matchup, it was their key to success. Looking back at the highlights of this match, there was a couple standout moments for N2L. They were looking good when they did manage to get away with the aggression, but it was an inconsistent thing. GX3 was very oftentimes ready for it, and well, now they are in a very tight spot, 10-2 down. And this is another one of those situations where you lose the pistol, and it's immediately not looking good.
A test of the mental here in this one. N2L battling up against a giant in an 8-round deficit. Toxic screens gonna be used already. One out towards the A site. Stacked up through the 2 though. 3 will go for GX3. They are gonna get spotted. So Sarah Star gonna get that information, but not the kill. Madison comes out on top there. The spike goes down. Lacey, I mean, this just looks like the attacking side here for GX3. I think this bodes incredibly well. A couple of kills gonna be traded back and forth in a 3v3 situation as Lacey forced to back away with 14 HP. Spots out Ari Anarchist, unfortunately gonna fall, but a kill happens on the opposite side of the map, or make it the site, excuse me. Danny picks one up there. Snake bites go through. Ari with the lineup, trying to get something done. Vulnerable is the Viper. All alone is the Viper. Is Annie able to stick the defuse? And now he looks to swing around as the frenzy shots to go wide. The stick on the defuse. The kills are there, but it doesn't matter. It's a 4K on the round, but it's a GX3 win.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking for Annie. She had the frag, she had the opportunity, but Ari just wasn't able to pull it through, and now they're down 11-2. Backs against the wall. They're trying to make some investment here. Armor up for Ari, light armor onto Lunar, but I don't even know what you do from here on out. You just have to take it round by round. You can't even look at that 11 rounds that your opponent has, because the second that this mental goes astray, and who knows, it might already be in a rough spot, then this game can just fall out of their hands. GX3 on the cusp of closing, of knocking N2L out of the tournament.
Toxin screen down.
There's a full save on the side of N2L. Minus some of the utility that we're seeing here. Ali gonna toss out some utility of her own. Both snake bites used here early in this round. Artstar chipped away at, but the decay will fall. Cloudburst now playing right on the outside. His cat is eventually gonna fall. Maddie is here to mow them all down into the meat grinder. A 3K for the Jet. A near flawless round on the books, and Artstar now needs to come up so incredibly clutch. A slow orb gonna keep her at bay. It's a 4K on the round. Maddie will assume her position at the top of the kill feed, and GX3 now on map and series point.
Maddie is just back to doing Maddie things, where she's just holding W with the Spectre and finding success. This player gets so aggressive at just the right time, and it's working perfectly for GX3. Now N2L, they have a buy-in, but if we glance towards GX3, Maddie has gotten knives off of that 4K. They're gonna try and make an aggressive play forward, and I don't know. I could definitely see a world where GX3 closes out off of this. N2L, gotta play this carefully, gotta play this smart.
Wall goes up, tries to stop the counter push inside of main. They look to play around it. Guiding Light gonna find the flash onto 2. They back away, as do GX3. They'll continue to play this one out in 5v5 fashion. Ali, though, has assumed a very up close position out towards mid. Is going to back away. Meanwhile, the spike has made its way onto B. So a plant right now would mean you have to play the rotation for GX3, and that's a lot of time chipped away at. They are going to wait for that ult orb to be picked up. Lunar Cat's going to get that spike down. I would imagine Ari has the lineups for this. With the spike planted, the rotation comes through. Ali going to find the kill. Ghost in hand. Ari will fall, and the timing again swings in favor of GX3. Leaves Sarah Star, spotted out one there, not spotted herself though. As they look to swing the back's turn, no, Lacey is ready for it, and this could be it, Mimi. But they continue to battle. N2L not done yet. They've got everything to lose here, and this one is Jen, the last one standing, but N2L hold on.
They hold on, but just narrowly. It was practically the full bonus. The Blade Storm committed is really the only weapon up for GX3, but they lose 3 of their weapons. Look at what this reinvestment has to be. It's armor for Lunar, it's light armor onto Ari. This is so tough, and the thing is that GX3, they have full weaponry, they have full armor, and they are definitely looking hot to close this one out. GX3, or excuse me, N2L, it just feels like they're staving off the inevitable, because they'll have to pull out 9 rounds in a row to bring this one back. Even just to bring it to overtime, they need more rounds after that. I can't begin to imagine how much of an uphill battle these players are facing, but just have to take it round by round. Every round is its own game, it's its own victory.
I love this Viper setup out towards mid, where you use both the poison cloud and the toxic screen. A nice wall gonna stop things, or stop players from pushing out through nest, but you don't have anything to answer there from the arches. Not able to find one. There's the spike down, I believe, as Jan finds another kill. looking for some more as Artstar tries to go aggressive towards the defender side of spawn. Trailblazer going to fall. Sarastar now looking to find a pinch here.
One enemy remaining.
Really caught out here, but now it's all up to one. More heroics necessary for N2L. As Cat, the last one standing, picks up one. Now 1v2 situation. Has the blades online. A couple of right clicks would get it done, but are they close enough to find those kills? They're going to work together. They're going to get it done just like that. Lacey to close things out. A defuse to come on through, and GX3 will sweep the series 2-0.
Oh, GX3, they just looked so strong in this situation. They just looked like the better team. The coordination, the utility play, especially back on Haven, was incredible. And unfortunately, for the side of N2L, that means they're dropping out at the 7th to 8th position. They're still taking home $1,000, but I'm sure that is not what they wanted coming into today. And well, to close out the day, we got Sash back with us.
Indeed, man, that was their map pick. That was their last chance. It was their do or die to stay alive in this tournament, but unfortunately, it was not enough. So, nothing to lose. They do lose out for this tournament this time around, but hey, they managed to beat out, out of how many, I can't do the math right now, but that was 31 teams they had to battle, battling it out in the open qualifiers. They made it to top 8. That is not anything to scoff about. They should be very proud of themselves. Meanwhile, looking it over at GX3, they are moving forward. They will buy themselves another life. We will see them competing again tomorrow, depending on the outcome of how things are working out there. But we do have, we are watching right now just the highlights of that map, and I feel like the both of you, you've seen how phenomenal GX3 just performed here. Mimi, if you want to just give us a quick finishing, wrapping things up, how this series went overall.
He was just a utility diff. I feel like on that first map, the mid-rounding was fantastic. They never slowed things down like we talked about. And in this Breeze one, it never looked like N2L was even in the game, man. I feel like they lost kind of 3 hard maps in a row, and they just kind of ran out of steam. The mental probably got a little bit tough. They didn't have the energy to pull things back into their favor, and it's unfortunate. It's a bit unlucky for them, but it's just going to show how strong of a team GX3 is. They may be in this lower bracket, but they have something to prove here.
And I think this series alone was a complete level up for GX3. I don't think there was ever really a time where you and I were saying, or that we had seen, that the clock was working against them. They were playing slow still. They were playing slow with a bit more time to work with. And I also like that although you have the rounds behind you, they played aggressive when they needed to play aggressive, and that's what we were kind of asking for in that TSM series, and that could have won an extra couple of rounds, maybe not the series, but obviously you see them do that here. Yeah, and got tripped up there for a second against a strong team and nothing to lose. I'm really looking forward to seeing how GX3 just continues to kind of ramp up, because again, you come down to a loser's bracket and you just throw everything at the wall now, right? You really have nothing to lose in this one. You kind of just full send, and that's what they did in this series. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, and to kind of just circle back with what you said, as far as utility, we do have stats and information coming up at you on the screen right now, and we're looking at who our NYX Cosmetics match MVP is, and it is... it is Jan on the right. I almost thought it was going to be Maddie, but no, it is Jan just fragging out on top. So good for her. She is our NYX Cosmetics match MVP. Look at that marshmallow. Very pretty. And matches that color of her Reyna, which she absolutely destroyed with on this map. And it good for them, and good job that they managed to pull through in pretty much a map that we're not even sure. We don't have any information of them playing it competitively necessarily, but I'm sure they practice it, maybe put it in their pocket, right? But that's all good. And I know we're very excited. I do believe we also have the Verizon post-game interview ready to be queued up as well. We have, hopefully I'm saying her name correctly, aka Lacey, yeah, or Lace. I always go 50-50 on which one it would be. But before we bring her in here, we had with the MVP and Maddie as well popping up. Kind of just give me a little bit of on the individual player's angle as far as what we expect GX3 to do moving forward, like you said, because it is kind of a do or die situation for them moving forward, right? And let's start with Mimi this time.
I think it's do or die, and I think this probably puts a little bit of pressure onto some of the younger members of this team, but what made me happy was that Jan, the least experienced, the youngest woman on this team, who's just kind of coming fresh into this team, she was still performing. She was still popping off, having her moments, and I think that now that they're in the lower bracket, I don't remember if it was you or Tanner who said this, but they're just going to be able to play like they have nothing to lose. They're going to be able to just play their own game, focus in, and make this run as deep as possible.
Right. And wonderful. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we do have, our Verizon post-match interview ready to go. We have Lace coming in here. Hello. Congratulations on your win. Making it to day 2 of the main event. So I guess I'll start things off first. Because instead of just saying like, how are you feeling? I'm actually curious as far as walk me through what the emotions were in, I would say normally room, but I'm assuming like you're all in the call. You just lost to TSM, knowing now you have to pretty much play again, fight for your life in this tournament. Like, what was going on over there?
We were really confident. Even going into the TSM match, we thought like we would take that 2-0. Unfortunately, I wasn't performing as well as I could have, but it just didn't go our way. So going into the Nothing to Lose match, we knew like we had a really good chance, and as long as we just played our game and kept calm, we would have like pretty much 2-0 them, which happens.
I love that confidence. It really, mental state, right? It's all about, I know we kind of touched up on that a lot with the casters, and I do have another question to follow up first, and this one is a little, important for me being the old school person that I am. I've seen you play in different teams throughout like various like women's tournaments and whatnot, but I'm curious to see, as far as you coming into this, playing with such an established name that is GX3, at least like in the FPS scene, Girls Got Game, people like me, I'm like, that is a name that I recognize. That isn't like, what is it like playing with a team that has such history as like, even with like Ali, like leading that, team on?
Yeah, so I met Ali in a Discord like 6 months ago when I was like Gold 2. And she and another old Counter-Strike player kind of raised me up from like a trash like laptop gamer to, competing in these events. So I've known her for a really long time, and it was kind of just a natural fit. We knew each other really well, and when she reached out to me, it was a no-brainer to play with her, because the improvement she's got me and the rest of the girls is insane. It's so exponential compared to anyone else in the scene, right? Because she has so much experience and knows everything that like I can trust her with my whole heart and get better as quick as possible.
That's so awesome to hear. I know. Okay, I'm gonna pass it off. Mimi, I believe you have something as well.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys, first of all, about that Haven comp, because you guys are the third team who I've ever seen run something like that. First of all, I kind of hate you guys for running it, but I also have so much respect for it. Because but I have some respect for it, because that's got to take a lot of work. What goes on behind the scenes here at GX3 to get something like that done and to be so successful with it? Because you just, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, you absolutely stomped 2 teams with that comp.
All right, so like 2 days before the first event, we only knew 3 maps, and we were like, oh no, we need to learn Haven. So we looked for the cheesiest comp possible, we picked it, and then we just stratted the you know what out of it. And here we are.
Awesome. Well, you love to see that. And then also, kind of talking about the map veto for this specific matchup, it was you guys going into the second map of Breeze, which you've never played before in an official. Did you guys have like some pocket strats going in, or were you just kind of pugging it out?
No, I think going in, we just said, yo, duelists, you have better aim than them, just go shoot them, and that's what happened, so. Glad to hear it. It turned out how we wanted it to.
Well, that's awesome to hear. You guys did fantastic throughout this event.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, and thanks for putting on the event. We appreciate you.
No, and I mean, thank you for being here and putting on a phenomenal performance for all of us to see and to watch.
Thank you for
inspiring
watching.
all of the women everywhere. So yeah, thank you so much again. Once again, this is AK Lacey. I can never get it right, but that's okay. From Team GX3, we will see you some more tomorrow, I am sure. So thank you again, and
Thank you
have
so
a
much
good
for
rest
having
of
me.
Your night.